Yo, what's poppin', guys? You got your boy Nandra. Welcome to another video. Searching Super Productively. I'm playing Dirt. Um, so this can be an intro to building. I'll go ahead and talk about all the things I'm like playing here. Like it's a pretty spicy list. Um, so as you know, like I do like playing Dirt. I don't play it all that often, but I do like playing it. So as you can see from the title of the deck, it's called Big Burn. Now, essentially, it's still like a form of burn dirt, but this one aims to go a little, to go significantly bigger than the other versions of burn dirt. I'm not really sure if this is correct or incorrect. To be honest, it's probably incorrect, but just like how I like playing burn dirt, just because I know a lot of times people like that they really like dislike playing illusionist or whatever, which is like fair because I mean illusionist is like really strong. However, there are still other ways to play this deck. This deck is more like a hybrid sort of thing, and that's like a crossover between like both burn and also winning by battle damage. And that like most of your games are usually just won by like, oh well, I have more attrition than you, and I can just win. I don't even have to burn you out. It's an option. I don't have to take it, but it's an option. So let's go and cover each of the cards. 3 Witch's Cauldron. So Witch's Cauldron is like it's just one of those cards that's probably gonna be burned there for quite some time unless they like somehow like power creep the sigil as well, which I don't think is possible, at least not yet, at least not while this card is in rotation, but it's possible. 3 Starseer's Telescope. I don't think I will ever play burn dirt. Sorry, I don't think I'll ever play dirt in general. As long as this card's in rotation without playing 3 copies of the card, like it's just too good. Like a 37 card deck is very ridiculous. And then also because of the call, you have a 34 card deck. Like that's honestly part of why Dirt is so like consistent at what it does. Because like a 34 card deck is something to sneeze at. 3 Dwarf Alchemist. Dwarf Alchemist is again one of the 2 jobs that you probably play as long as this card's in rotation, which is only for another 3 months or really 2.5 months. Just because like it does pretty much everything you need to do. It gets you a sigil. It can search you out cards, and it's also a 2-drop. Pretty much everything you need to do. 3 Stella. To be honest with you, I don't particularly want to play 3 Stella, but like there aren't really that many that many like 2-drops for Dirt that I actually like want to play. So I decided to just do this just because like I wanted to be alright. So really, like, in order to talk about Stella, I think I have to talk about like the Silver Blade Golem really quickly. There's supposed to be 2 of these in here, but for right now I'm just messing around with 1. But in order to play the Silver Blade Golem, like it requires a huge constraint on your sigils. Like he wants to eat 4 sigils in order to turn them into Verdict Rituals, and like sometimes you won't always have the sigils to give up. But with Stella, you have enough time doing like other like arts and crafts things or whatever. They can afford to give up those sigils. You can afford to you can afford to have them be like a giant sigil sink. That's also the other reason for why I don't have Magic Illusionist in here, just because like Magic Illusionist and Silver Blade Golem contradict each other. Like both of them are both like greedy sigil guzzlers, and you can only really have one greedy sigil guzzler in a deck, I think. So 2 Silent Laboratories. So Silent Laboratory, like I did cover this in my Chronogenesis review, but like it's honestly a lot better than people I think gave it credit for, just because like a big thing was that like in the past there was a card I used to play that was it was really like 3 mana to literally do this exact same effect, and that card was great just because it was basically extra redundancy on Dwarf Alchemist. But now this is like super extra redundancy on Dwarf Alchemist, because again this is literally the same exact effect for that, but at the mana cost of Dwarf Alchemist. Granted, you don't get the extra utility of, oh well, the sigil's not in your hand, but sometimes it being in play is actually a little bit better than it being in your hand. And this card is just very good, just because like it basically rewards you for playing the game. 3 Carl, super annoying for people to deal with. I actually really like it in this deck just because like because you're not straight up just like burn dirt or whatever, you do actually have to be like kind of cognizant about your HP pool, and Carl kind of helps you do that. In general, how you're gonna want to play Carl is you're usually gonna want to like save your telescopes, because you usually have so many things you can be doing that you can afford to like do that most times. And then if you're low, you want to go ahead and like try to play Carl, then just go ham and just try to play like 3 or 4 sigils on the same turn to heal for 4, and just kind of win that way. 2 concentration. So I actually really like concentration a lot. I think for the most part that you do have to play if you are playing concentration, they probably do still have to play Oz, but I do like concentration a considerable amount just because like it helps you keep digging. It also is a form of healing. Again, that's actually kind of important in this deck. You can use the sigils to draw 3, but usually you're just fine drawing 2. But it does help you get rid of extra sigils if you have them. For Halo Golem is pretty strong. It's really good versus so many things, and it's just one of those cards that like it feels ridiculous when you're going first. 3 Piercing Rune. So ordinarily, usually I believe my lists don't really have Piercing Rune, but for this one I decided to go ahead and include it. I'm not really sure how I feel about the Piercing Runes yet, but they're pretty good at like what I like need them to do. So like because like this one's like it's really grindy. And just having extra 2 mana removal as well as also dual burn damage if you need it too. It's very powerful. Alright, 2 Nova Flare. So this one's kind of big. So I know a lot of times people tell me that well, okay, so before I actually talk about the Nova Flare, so before I talk in detail about the Nova Flare, there's 2 different things that I want to cover. First, 90% of the reason why I'm playing the Nova Flare is because I have an animated one, and I haven't actually played Nova Flare at all this set, so I wanted to see what I could play. I wanted to get like a feel for what I like about the card and where I was going to play it. Alright, but getting on to the actual why I'm playing it in this deck. So, as you know, I'm not playing Magic Illusionist, so the initial board control I have is not going to be as ridiculous as if I was in fact playing the Magic Illusionist. Because like Magic Illusionist, like when you play it and you have like with 2 or 3 sigils, like you pretty much can't actually lose the board at that point. But I don't have that. So in order to supplement that, I decided to go ahead and play something that, you know, doesn't care about if I have sigils, and usually comes at an early amount of time before I can play the Magic Mage Levi, because like there's a huge jump in the difference between 4 mana and 6 mana. And yes, my deck does play creatures. However, at 4 mana, I'm not going to need to care about these creatures. Like they're just here because I have to play these creatures, so it's not like lose the game. But the Nova Flare is really cool. I particularly wanted to have it versus Shadow as well as Forest. Forest actually does well. Forest, in my opinion, does like really well versus Rune for the most part, just because like they can play a lot of fairies in order to contest like Magic Illusionist. But if I'm not playing Magic Illusionist, which I'm not, then I'm gonna need these just because like having an AoE buff that comes out again before Master Mage Levi comes out, what not a lot of people are expecting are gonna like overcommit, is very good. It also helps continue to body Sword because like well, most Sword players are not gonna play around the AoE. They're certainly not gonna play around a 4 mana AoE. They'll just come out of nowhere. So it just helps out with that. Additionally, there are also some people who are in fact playing Aggro Sword with Vagabond Frog. This helps a lot. I'm sorry. Oops, my bad. Sorry. This helps out a lot with that, and just being able to kill off the Vagabond Frog ideally before they can evolve it, or hopefully hopefully if you can get lucky that they maybe say trade with the Vagabond Frog and they just like go ahead and overplay it then. But 2 Illusionists. So the big thing about Illusionists I actually like is like Illusionist has a lot of utility. There are a lot of things you can just like pull back. The other thing is that like it helps both the going first as well as the going second argument. But just, you know, it's just a nice swing card for when you're like behind. There are like extra perks you can get from it. Like for example, one of the things that I like doing is I like pulling back Professor of Taboos, because honestly I feel like Professor of Taboos is like, it's one of those cards that's like kind of being slept on in this format. Like I know a lot of people are just, you know, really focused on the whole, okay, well why just like play Burn Dirt and just like kill you that way or whatever. But honestly a good Professor of Taboo turn versus like most midrange decks is usually gonna be game winning, because if you can fulfill the formula of play Professor of Taboo, have a sigil in play, evolve the Professor of Taboo, trade it into like a 2/2, and then they only have one, and then they only have, say, like one other creature in play that's like a 5/5 or something like that, and you get to kill the 5/5 for free, and you just get to have 2 tokens with the Professor who's at 5 HP. You pretty much win that game, because it's literally impossible for them. Well, I'm not gonna say literally, but like it's very, very difficult for people to clear the board. Like off the top of my head, like the only things that clear that board are the Professor of Debu is like 1 HP lower. Zernitra Evo clears it. What else? Odell Black Swan clears it. A Cassiopeia, where the Cassiopeia has at least 6, yeah, at least like Cassiopeia for 6 with an Evo can also clear it. But like, we see how they have to like not only like invest in Evo and then usually like whatever trades into it is going to die. Yeah. Like Professors like really, really ridiculous, and like having and being able to say that you have extra Professors in your deck is honestly like really, really strong. Just because like, oh well, if you go ahead and Professor one once, they're not gonna expect the second one, and then just have the Illusionist chilling. Like the Illusionist also helps because like she can fulfill the whole, oh well, getting 2 procs on Professor. If you get 2 procs on Professor, you usually just win the game. So also one other random thing, sometimes people, I don't know why, but sometimes people just they've just like never seen illusions before. So sometimes you can actually get like random extra HP because people actually either use removal on the creature they resummon with illusions, which is gonna get banished at the start of your next turn, or they'll trade into it. I've had that happen 3 or 4 times. I don't know. Oh, the other thing is that like with Silverblade Golem, a nice thing you can do is that like if you're trying to like chain bird and stall at the same time, you can go ahead and you can play the Silverblade. You can go ahead and say, if you say I don't know, for some reason you like need like a few turns to set all your burn up, you can go ahead and just go Silverblade. They can go ahead and go Illusionist to pull back the Silverblade, and bam, you have a 6/6 ward. Kind of cool. 3 Master Mage Levi. Master Mage Levi is, I don't know, like it's one of those cards that's like pretty staple in Dirt. Like I honestly feel like for the most part, it's one of those cards like you generally want to play because it kind of does all of the check marks that you needed to do. Like it's a nice mid-range card. It also beats out other mid-range. It also does burn damage if you're like a more aggressive deck. It's also wave clear if you're like a control deck. So it's just one of those cards that I think it's just always going to be played in rotation until it like rotates out. The 2 Oz. So initially I didn't want to play the Oz. However, I did run into some situations where because I'm playing a little bit more spells than what I normally do when I play like Oz. Well, yeah, a few more than normal, like 3, 6, 8. Yeah, you definitely want to have 2 Oz. So this way you can do certain things on the fly. Like for example, being able to go like Oz for 7 into Nova Flare, or sorry, Oz for 7 into like Mutagenic Bolt into Nova Flare is really, really cool. I haven't done it yet, but on paper it sounds really cool. Or being able to go like Nova Flare into Piercing Rune or something like that. Very, very, very cool things. If I wasn't gonna play the 2 Oz, I would try to maybe say play it like extra Silver Blades, but like it's really, really difficult to fit Silver Blade in here because like it is an 8 mana. Technically do nothing. Like sure it has ward, but it's still an 8 mana technically do nothing. You do have to respect that. I do also have quite a considerable amount of card draw in order to actually draw into it in the first place, so I don't really think you need more than one, but bam. 1 Mutagenic Bolt. So the Mutagenic Bolt is actually like really important to have it. No, not because it's animated, although I will admit that yeah, it's a big reason for why I have it in here in the first place. But honestly, just because like right now, like Dirt's really popular, Dragon's really popular, Shadow's really popular. There are a lot of things you really need to Mutabolt so they don't actually like melt your face off. Like for example, being able to Mutabolt Bahamut if you don't have your Professor is really, really strong. Mutabolting White Wolf of Elderwood, Mutabolting maybe say Lurching Corpses or things like that. Mutabolting well, just so many things. Like Mutagenic Bolt is a nice like catch-all for a lot of like the really, really problem cards. I'm not playing more than one. Just because like I find that like with this deck, like usually the Professor is like your ideal catch-all for most of these sort of things. But the Mutagenic Bolt it does help because like there are certain things that you do actually need to like kill permanently. For example, Oro. And then lastly we get to the Silverblade Golem. So the Silverblade Golem is the big reason for why I decided to make this deck in the first place. I I pulled one of these like sorry, I pulled this guy like yesterday. I actually really think the card's kind of cool because it's basically like a Rose Queen. It's really hard to use though, because again, like it's a giant Sigil Guzzler, and that's very and that kind of like adds a considerable amount of deck constraint. The other issue is that like it's not an optional effect. So basically, what I'm saying is that like is that much like Hulking Giant, you don't get an option of, oh, okay, well let me like kind of pick and choose, kind of like bargain shop or whatever. No, like it's basically the second you play this, all your sigils in your hand just gone. Like they're just now vertical rituals. Now don't get me wrong, like when you on average you're gonna be able to get like two to four vertical rituals. Ideally, probably on average, maybe say 2, maybe say 3. That's not even bad because it means that the Silver Blade Golem is gonna be threatening to deal 12 to 15 damage, and then it is like mixed damage. Like part of that's battle damage, part of that's effect damage, and that's always a very good thing to be doing. The nice thing is that the bird rituals, they are very cost efficient, and that they're just like 2 mana for 3 damage. That's very good. It's basically like a lightning bolt from it's almost close to lightning bolt from MTG, but there's like a few like comparisons that can also be made because like it's a burn spell. Like it's a ward which helps. It's very ridiculous versus say things like say Haven, because like Haven they want to heal, but they won't be able to heal because this guy's just here just like saying hi, trying to just like smack in the face with his club. I'm sorry, with his sword. I'm sorry. And that's like really cool. It's not as good versus say things like Dragon or things like Force. I'm not sure, but usually versus those things you're gonna want to rely on having strong illusionist strengths to carry you through. As far as matchups go, I don't really, let's see, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure the Dragon matchups probably like not great, because like you are playing some like cards that Dragon won't care about. Like for example, Dragon doesn't care about Nova Flare, but it's probably winnable. Not sure. Definitely requires more testing. The other matchup that like I'm kind of concerned about is maybe Portalcraft, actually. I'm not sure. But yeah, for the most part, like the two legendaries that like if the deck you're facing doesn't really care about creatures, you're probably gonna have a bad time. If your deck you're facing does care about creatures, like in both having some and also trying to deny you of them, you're probably gonna have a great time, because like this deck plays a lot of creatures that are kind of difficult to kill. But yeah, that's the deck. There'll be a concept game shortly, probably today in a few hours. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go and leave a like, go and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.